billion? Is that a lot for Elon?
I haven't looked at how much his net worth has moved. I'm not sure if our Bloomberg billionaires list has updated it yet, but it will go up because Tesla's stock has gone up in response to this buy. So maybe it ends up paying for itself.
I'm
essentially,
just imagining a snake eating its own tail with like how this works. Like,
there's a little bit of that with Elon Musk. I mean, he's the
wealthiest person in the world. The index has not been updated today, but as of the last update, $418.6 billion is his net worth.
Yeah, I mean, the stock, it operates, although Tesla has this very large, very good business in selling cars, the Tesla stock kind of operates a little bit like a meme stock. It moves around a lot, 5% gain, which is where we were earlier in the day, I guess even a little higher, maybe 7%. Mm-hmm. That's a big move for most companies. It's not the biggest move in the world for Tesla, where you often see these wild swings, and often the wild swings are really just about things that Elon Musk has said. If he gets on Twitter and says something really positive about self-driving cars or about the Optimus robot, that can sometimes be enough because you have retail traders. Remember, this is a company with a very large retail shareholder base. They respond to that. And what we've seen over the last week, not just this purchase of shares on the open market, which is a big deal. I mean, $1 billion is $1 billion. That's no joke, especially given that Elon Musk has spent a lot of time over the last couple of years essentially borrowing against Twitter and buying other things and doing, spending time in Washington and buying X and so on. So refocusing on Tesla, shareholders are going to like that. And the other thing that I think these kind of retail investors who really like Elon Musk care about is this pay package. It simultaneously, from their point of view, ensures that Elon Musk is going to be locked up at this company for a long time. It also kind of creates a goal that is really audacious, and that's something that can maybe help justify the valuation being where it is, which is, it's very, if you compare it to like other car companies, Tesla, has a much greater valuation. So maybe
it's a different planet. But people would say it's a different animal. It's not a car company.
But anyway, this maybe would go some way towards justifying that valuation or even growing it further, because it includes huge sales goals for Tesla's automotive business, which has been stagnating, of course, over the last year or so, as well as goals around self-driving cars, as well as Optimus and so on. If he really were to get there, I think most investors would say, yeah, it's worth the potential $1 trillion that we have agreed to pay him.
I mean, it's a company with a $1.3 trillion market cap and expected revenues. The latest number, the annual figure, we're talking about maybe $93 billion. So, price to sales. I don't know. I just kind of think about it. I mean, I get the connection. I mean, Tesla without an Elon is not going to be Tesla, right?
It is. That's true. And I think, and that is what's so interesting about what's been happening since the beginning of the Trump presidency, and maybe even a little bit before that, where you have, on one hand, you could make a really strong argument that some of Elon Musk's actions in Washington, or his, the things he's putting on his X page, the kind of associations with various polarizing figures, which we even saw over the weekend, this rally in the UK, that is hurting the company's business. On the other hand, if you were to remove Elon Musk, if the board were to say, that's it, we've had enough Elon Musk, we need to replace you, that would instantly, I think most people believe, most investors, including bulls and bears, the stock would fall, because this company is really a bet on this one guy, warts and all.
Well, warts and all. Yet we always talk about SpaceX having leaders, right, that are really key in what that company does. Yet the visionary, is it safe to say, Max, is really Elon? Or is it a group of people that are the visionaries?
I think Tesla and SpaceX are really two different animals, because, as you said, SpaceX has this kind of deputy in Gwynne Shotwell, who's the president of the company, who has relationships with important customers, especially government customers, and a business that is just sort of more stable in terms of selling launches to the U.S. government. We've talked a lot on this show and elsewhere, of course, about how dominant SpaceX's position in the launch market. Tesla's a little bit different, right? There are lots of car makers who are bringing out really good electric cars right now. There are Chinese companies with great autonomous vehicle packages. So there's real competition, and we've seen, sales go all over the place, and yet there is this kind of crazy out there vision of Tesla Tesla as a massive robotics company. And so it's just much more, I think, a speculative bet than SpaceX is for the investors who are putting money into this thing.
And look, SpaceX still a private company. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they spin off Starlink. Who knows? We'll have to stay tuned to see what happens there. But Max, when it comes to SpaceX and Tesla and Elon Musk's pay package as it relates to Tesla, is it a loss for SpaceX? You said Gwen Shotwell's, really the glue that holds it together, but Elon is the one who wants to colonize Mars.
Well, if you watch the interview or listen to the interview that Bloomberg did last week with Tesla's chair, Robin Denholm, you heard her say that they're fine with him working at other companies. There's nothing in this pay package saying you need to spend more time at Tesla relative to SpaceX than you were before.
To reach the benchmarks that would pay him $1 trillion or achieve that $1 trillion payday, one would imagine that he would have to spend more time.
It really just doesn't sound like that's the plan. I mean, the plan seems to be they're going to stick with what they're doing, which is develop, at least that's the story they're telling. I agree with you. And I think if you talk to bears, especially, they're going to say, look, this plan, these goals are out of this world. They're crazy. It's going to be very, very hard for this to happen without some crazy things happening, but probably both internally and externally. The Elon position, the Tesla position is things are growing great. We're transitioning rapidly to autonomous cars, and before you know it, the robot future. There's not only at least in my reading of this pay package, no requirement that he spends less time at these other companies. There's really nothing stopping him from his kind of political activity, at least as a poster. There is this line about winding down his activities, but last week when asked about this, the Tesla chair essentially said, well, he's still allowed to do his personal activities. She wouldn't put any kind of defined, timeline or what it would mean. It really seems like he can continue, funding candidates and serving as an advocate, because I think, at least my understanding based on that interview and in the proxy, those would consist of Elon Musk's kind of personal political activities. If he were to take another job in government, that seems less likely. But again, there's still a lot of room for him to kind of be an advocate and be vocal, be out there.
Is it odd that he bought these shares? Just got 25 seconds. Do you think that there was hey, we're working on this pay pack?
I think he's signaling to investors that he's committed, and that's how they're going to see it. I think he's attempting to, if you're cynical, you say maybe he's goosing the stock. If you're not cynical, you say he just believes in this thing. He believes the stock's undervalued, and he's committed, and that's what he's signaling.